Hello everyone, bachphotography here, back with another video, and today we're going to be looking at the Sigma 35mm F1.4 ART lens. We're going to be looking at a full photo shoot I did with this 35mm lens, and then I'm going to give my thoughts on this lens, a full review after using this lens for over a year. And I've probably shot over 100,000 photos on this lens, and there are some great points about it and some not so great points about it, all will be talked about in this video. The 35mm lens is considered to be a slightly wide angle lens, and it's really good for a lot of things. I like to use it for portraits where I want the background to also be in frame so that you can get a nice idea of the surroundings. It's also really good for weddings, for street photography, for general lifestyle photography, and a whole bunch of other things in between. The 35mm prime is also really good because you have a low aperture, and in this lens it's an aperture of f1.4, and what that means is you can really open up this lens and let huge amounts of light into your sensor and shoot in really low light conditions. So for the Sigma 35mm f1.4 ART lens that I've owned for about a year now, I've had a great time shooting on this lens, and I found it a really enjoyable lens to use. It has excellent build quality, the manual focus ring is really nice and easy to use, and the body is rugged and durable. I've used it a lot and I haven't seen any wearing in any of the numbers or anything like that. The focus rubber is still nice and tight on the lens as well. You find with some other lenses like my Tamron 24-70 f2.8 that the rubber has actually stretched and come off the focusing ring, which makes it much more difficult to use. But with this ART lens, I haven't had that issue at all, and I've probably used it 3 or 4 times as long as with that other Tamron lens. So it's standing up to the test of time really well, and it's also still focusing very well. I don't have any issues with the focusing motor, and it's focusing very quickly and pretty accurately. If you are thinking of getting this lens, I think it's really important that you calibrate it to focus properly, because I found with this 35mm lens, and actually all of my Sigma ART lenses, is that they can often misfocus straight out of the box. And my 85mm actually is so bad that if I aim it at somebody's face straight on, it will focus to infinity and completely misfocus at any aperture lower than about 2.5. And the Sigma 35mm is not as bad as the 85, but it definitely misses focus quite a lot when it isn't calibrated, so that's something you're definitely going to have to do, particularly if you're shooting a lot at low apertures. Here's a photo taken on the Sigma 35mm at f1.4, and you can see that when it focuses really well and is tack sharp in the middle of the image. So you can see here that the sharpness in the eyes is really nice, although we do have very low contrast in certain areas. So kind of a mixed performance by the Sigma 35. So we have some really beautiful sharpness, and as you can see here, this is on a Sony a7R II, so it's quite a demanding 42 megapixel sensor, and we're still getting some really excellent sharpness right in there. And that's a great result for any lens at its lowest aperture possible, and particularly a lens that has a maximum aperture of f1.4, because lenses are never their sharpest at the lowest aperture, and it's a particularly demanding thing to have a sharp image at f1.4. But how does it handle lens flare? Well, unfortunately at f1.4 it doesn't handle it very well, and when you're shooting into the sun you lose a large amount of contrast. This is to be expected though, because shooting at f1.4 is always going to be demanding for contrast when you're shooting into the sun or into a light source, and we can kind of forgive it for having poor performance when shooting into the sun. The lens is quite small considering it's a f1.4 lens, and it only weighs about 665 grams, so you're not going to have any trouble shooting with this thing handheld at a wedding or at an event that lasts all day. It's a nice compact piece of gear that you can carry around without any problems. That being said, in the world of 35mm lens, it is definitely not the smallest lens you can get, so if you're looking to do stealthy street photography, it might not be the lens for that. So now let's have a look at some of the photos I took on this photo shoot, and I'm going to leave a link to all the raw files as well, so you can have a real good look in your own time at the quality of this lens and how it performs in different situations. If you got this far into the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content so far. I really appreciate all of you subscribing, because it really helps me in the YouTube algorithm make this into a full-time job, so thank you very much for subscribing. And let me know what you think about this lens and how it performs. Have you got this lens? What do you think of it? Let me know in the comments below if you do. So that's going to be it for this video. I know it's a short one, but that is everything I have to say about this lens. Would I recommend this lens to people? Absolutely, yes I would. It's $600 US, which is a reasonable price. It's excellent quality, it provides amazing sharpness, and if you calibrate it, it has very good autofocus as well. It comes in Canon, Sony, Nikon, and probably some other platforms as well, so everyone can have a piece of the action with this lens. I'm going to leave a link to this lens in the description if you would like to check that out and see more about the details of this lens, or if you'd like to buy one for yourself. So that is everything for this video. Thank you very much for watching it to the end, and I will see you in the next one.